Hello and welcome to Sports Fan Entertainment. And yes, I have to do it a way too early 2026 NFL mock draft. Now, it's been a number of years since I've done this. I think my last one, I did a way too early 2024. I know for sure I did a way too early 2021. This 2021 actually wasn't bad. But this is the deal. Obviously, guys, it's too early. Because if I were to have done one last year, you probably would have seen Carson Beck in the top 5. You would have saw, and we'll talk about this maybe another day, Shedeur Sanders in the top 5. You would have saw that even in mock even later on, and you saw that in plenty of mocks later on. But still, you would have saw Quinn Ewers going in the first round. Things are going to change. You would have saw James Pierce at least going, maybe top 6. So things are going to change. However, I will say I feel this class is a little bit more stable than last year's class for the most part. Just a little bit more stable. There might be some surprises, particularly at the wide receiver position. I think that's because right now it doesn't look strong at all. Right now, really, you're looking at probably Carnell Tate being the most highly sought after, and he's expected right now to be like mid-first round. But you have wild cards like Nick Harbor and some other guys that have not performed yet, but are so athletically talented they could pop off and things can get very interesting. So we're going to focus today's discussion, and we have to, on the quarterbacks. But let's go ahead and look at the mock draft. All right, so let me go ahead and start by saying this. Arch Manning is not in this mock draft. I'm not going to make mock drafts really through the season, probably, because I normally don't. Arch Manning will not be in my mock drafts. I am definitively of the belief he is not coming out in this class. I don't believe it. Every report says he's not. The Manning family history says he will not. He's making enough money in college. If I were him, I also probably would not. In fact, maybe it depends on who ends up having the first pick. But if it's a team or a franchise, the team is going to be bad, obviously. But if it's a franchise that isn't very good, okay, I'll go back to our Texas for another year. I don't believe it. So maybe I'm wrong on that. And whenever he declares, then boom, I'll put him in my mock drafts. I'm not doing it. So even though he was available for me because I use NFL mock draft database, I don't care. I'm not marking Arch Manning. I'm sorry. So who I did mock and who is my quarterback one-ish right now is Cade Klubnik. Now, it is very close between him and Lenore Sellers. Right now, Cade Klubnik is the more proven commodity. Cade Klubnik was really good last year for Clemson. I expect him to even take another step forward next year. I think he had about 36 touchdowns, 60 interceptions. Clemson ended up doing pretty well. I expect them to even take another step forward as they have a lot of premier talent that you're staying at the top of this draft. And I expect them to compete for a national title next year. Cade Klubnik's going to get a lot of love. Lenore Sellers, you see the big arm. You see the athleticism. You also saw some inconsistency, and I just want to see him more consistent as a passer because I also probably would have had Jalen Milroe going for sure, at least first round last year. Now, I think he's more advanced than Milroe was mostly. Well, actually, I won't even say that. I actually kind of like Jalen Milroe coming off of 2023. And then 2024, I don't know what the hell happened. He actually took a step back. I think Lenore Sellers has a higher ceiling than Jalen Milroe, which is crazy to say. Milroe's faster, but Sellers is a little bit more, he's definitely stronger maybe not strong as a runner, but he's able to do different things as a runner, and I think he has a bigger arm. I think he has a more accurate arm as of this moment, but I really just want to see him consistently move the South Carolina Gamecocks through the air. Yeah, I really want to see a little bit more of that, but he had 7 rushing touchdowns and over 600 rushing yards last year. It could easily be Lenore Sellers. Everyone could just fall in love, and someone will fall in love with him. As long as he doesn't fall off a cliff, like Jalen Milroe did. Someone's going to fall in love with him. I fully expect him to be a top 10 pick. He's going to be one of the highly sought-after commodities and could easily be number 1. You like his body, too, as well, the size that he has. So look out for Lenore Sellers. But for right now, I have Cade Klubnik. So I had TJ. Keep on the quarterback conversation, then we'll move on to the picks, though. So I do not have Nico Iamaleava in this mock. I will not have Nico Iamaleava in any mock until he proves to me that he's worth it, and he has not. For some reason, he is still going off of the high school and early Tennessee hype. He did not play well last year, period. And any Tennessee Volunteer fan will tell you that. Any person that ever watched Tennessee last year, outside of maybe if you caught them in one of the rare games he played well, will tell you, oh, he's not ready yet. Oh, he's not a first-round pick yet. And then now he's going to UCLA, which is rebuilding. They didn't have a good offense last year. They just moved on from Bieniemy. What's going to happen now with that offense? They say it's a better fit for him. I don't know about that. I don't know what to think about Nico Iamaleava right now. I know right now he's not good. So maybe if he pops off next year for 30-plus touchdowns and, a number of rushing touchdowns, then okay, we'll begin the Nico conversation again. Until then, I'm not buying it. So I have Drew Aller going 8 to the Colts. Penn State's going to do very well. Strong run game. Another year for them. Hopefully, Aller is able to do a little bit more in terms of showing him being the real driving force of Penn State because, guys, last year Penn State had 2,000-yard rushers. They're probably going to have something similar again this year. It was so easy for him, and I'm not blaming him or them for doing this, to just hand off the ball, okay, and then make timely throws. We've seen him choke in big games. Okay, I know he played well in their one initial playoff game, but we've seen him play terribly against Ohio State, play terribly in some of those Big Ten games. I've seen it time and time again. I've seen bad performances from Aller at the big stage. I think he'll make a step forward, and I think he'll be a top 10 pick. People are going to fall in love with him how they fell in love with Drake May, easily. But I need to see a little more from him personally, but he's going to go with top 10 most likely unless he has a big fall. Garrett Nussmeier went 9 to the Raiders for me. I like Nussmeier. I want to see a little bit more mobility. That's my fear for him. And also, he didn't play well against top competition either. So that's the big problem for him. But right now, he is, and look, he had like a run or two last year that was okay. But this is the most statuesque quarterback we've had come out in a while. I mean, it's been a while since we had someone this statuesque to come out in the NFL draft. That's going to be a big knock against him, and deservedly so. Now, he can sit in the pocket, though, and sling it. He has plenty of arms, so he can absolutely sit in that pocket and sling it, and assuming you have good protection for him, it won't be a problem. But this is one of the most statuesque quarterbacks we've had come out in a while. Okay, so the other picks, though, we'll note, probably, the big picks, and then we'll get out of here. So out of the Titans taking, it says DL here, but he's an edge. Especially in the Titans game. T.J. Parker out of Clemson, I fully expect him to be the top edge rusher out of this class. He already had an 11-sack year last year. Expect him to build upon that. Maybe not the same number of sacks because 11 is, a lot. If he does, fantastic, though. But he's going to be a beast. He's going to go high. I struggled with 3. So I put out a poll, and I was, bombarded on this poll. I asked people, should Tyler Shuck, the second-round pick for the Saints, stop the Saints from drafting a quarterback if they were picked high next year? 90+% of people said no. Overruled. I don't know what the Saints are going to do. This is way too early, by the way. Something tells me. Now, the way I have, again, the quarterbacks, I could have easily went with a quarterback here, and if they are this bad, they probably would just take Lenore Sellers. However, Caleb Downs is so good, they might just fall in love with him and take him to be that next safety because Tyrann Mathieu is getting up there in age. So this is my first early mock. I could have easily went Sellers here, Aller, even in their hometown boy, Garrett Nussmeier. But part of me thinks they might end up liking Shuck. I don't know. We'll see. The Giants, I know they don't want to take Hayden Proctor. I know Giants fans would absolutely hate this because this is probably, this is another offensive lineman. But I didn't know what else to do. Peter Woods goes 6 to the Panthers, also considered Anthony Hill Jr. here. Francis Magoa goes 7 to the Browns. I know you guys have DeJuan Jones and you expect him to continue to improve at that left tackle, but he was easily the best player available. I already mentioned the quarterbacks, and then Patriots go tackle. Rams, I knew you wish a quarterback fell to you. One didn't. If you fall in love with Nico, you could take him here. And then the one to look out for that I did not mock, I like Sam Levitt, the quarterback out of Arizona State. He is someone that could rise as well. There are some other interesting, quarterbacks in the class, but right now, those are the main guys that I'm looking at. There's always going to be another name or two that ends up popping up. But for right now, those are the guys I'm looking at. And again, if Nico ends up taking the step forward and is able to show me some things, then I'll really start, mocking Nico. But for right now, I'm not buying it. And then some other quarterbacks I may think of who might, and maybe Malachi Nelson if he pops off. Maybe a Cameron Rising, but right now, I just don't see it. I need to see way more from those guys. I need to see way more from Jackson Arnold. I need to see way more from Dante Moore and some of those guys. So I feel good about the quarterbacks that I have going in the first round right now. And Carson Beck, if he ends up improving, I don't think he will. Maybe he gains first round status again, but I think the failure was so bad last year for Georgia. I don't know how he ends up being a first-round pick again. I think it's similar to, who was it last year? Oh, now he was never considered a first-round pick. But Kyle McCord, now he was never considered a first-round pick. But Kyle McCord was so bad for Ohio State, it didn't matter what he did in Syracuse. Now, he had a terrible game in Syracuse, like a 5-interception game that really screwed him. But he was so bad, and it left such a bad taste in our mouths to where Kyle McCord, even though he had a pretty damn good year in Syracuse, we don't care anymore because we have the Ohio State tape, so we don't care. Now, other transfers have ended up, raising their stock. Jalen Hurts raised his stock, for the most part. Going to Oklahoma. Caleb Williams, although he wasn't bad at Oklahoma or anything, but he wanted to go to USC. I mean, it could happen. I just don't know. I think he's going to go through the Quinn Ewers thing, where he's going to play another year. Quinn Ewers did a transfer, but he's going to go through another year, and people are going to be like, yeah, okay, we've seen enough. We don't care. Even if it's a little improved, we don't care. We saw your worst. So maybe look out for Carson Beck. All right, so that's my way too early 2026 NFL mock draft. What are your thoughts on this mock draft? Comment down below. I want to know. Until next time, this has been MJ of Sports Fan Entertainment, and I'm out. See you all later.